And welcome to Life Changing Television, Mike Gordon. Thank you. You know what? You are a change maker. When I read about all the things that you do and the places that you have gone, I mean, right now, one of the most sought after speakers, speaking maybe over 2,500 times within a month, something like that. But I mean, you're really a guy that is right now on the cutting edge of what's taking place in youth culture, but also what's happening across the Christian community. But you know, I always wonder, how does that start? Where does that begin? You know, where was your journey of faith that brought this guy who's now the most sought after speaker around to being who he is today? Where did that start?
For me, I was not raised in your church home. So I kind of have that background of not knowing anything about Jesus, the Bible, truth. When I went through high school, my family went through very funny dynamics, and my parents divorced.
Ooh.
At 14, I got kicked out of my house, and I lived my high school life going whatever direction I thought the culture will take me and fulfill me.
Wow,
So
at 14?
At 14. So I would do A, I'll do B, I'll get involved in different lifestyles, and I was looking for truth, essentially.
Yeah.
Around that time, someone invited me to a basketball outreach program.
So you got little skills, huh? You got some hoop skills?
I was a starter on the high school team.
Yeah.
I think that means something.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. I look athletically challenged, but you know.
No, you don't. You actually look like you got that Jaguar physique, so I can see it. I can see it. All right.
I love it. And so my church, well, my church now, but the church rented our high school gym, and they opened it for anyone. Did not matter what your background was. Did not matter if you were a Christian or not. They just wanted to provide the service for the community. So I found out, because we live in Canada, it snows like, 10 months of a year.
Yeah.
I was happy to play indoor anywhere.
Yeah, we the North.
Exactly, go Raptors.
Yeah.
So I went in there, started playing basketball, and there was a man named Rob, the youth pastor, who started investing in my life, and I started trusting him, and he started sharing the truth with me. It was through that whole experience I got involved with the youth ministry. I accidentally signed up for a mission trip in Mexico.
Now, how do you accidentally sign up?
Well, I think I was more focused on March break and the warm weather,
And
not
I'm going
the mission.
somewhere. Yeah,
not
all
the
right.
mission
Yeah.
and doing work. But I said, hey, I want to come. Rob said that would be amazing. And it was down in Mexico where one evening we had a speaker who gave a gospel presentation. And he shared the truth about Jesus and what he did for us and for myself. And that evening, I made a decision to give my life to Christ. Because of that, I'm looking at my life and the change that God made within me just because of that truth and that good news.
Wow.
And I believe that truth and good news is still good news and still truth today in our maybe post-Christian culture or the post-modern culture that we see. So one of the reasons why I do what I do is because I want to see people take hold of that and understand like how loved they are and what Jesus did for them.
Was that the first time you heard the whole gospel?
I believe it was my first time. I think I've heard a little bit from like
pieces.
Adam and Eve and maybe a little Jesus. The first time I heard the whole story together and how I fit into it.
So how do you now move from being homeless at 14? You receive the gospel, and does everything just kind of poof, it becomes great?
It was not just poof and became great. And I may say my life been more challenging in some aspects as a Christian,
Because people
following
don't
Jesus.
they don't tell you that part.
They don't. They tell you the roses and butterflies of Christianity. They don't
Yeah.
tell you, hey, in this world you may have trouble,
Right.
or you will.
Yeah.
And the first couple of years was quite challenging, just kind of discovering how to follow Jesus in this culture, how to turn from my sins, and also how to be who God made me to be in the midst of that, especially when I started pursuing ministry.
Okay. And you not only pursued ministry, but business and a number of other things. I mean, so you could have gone a lot of different directions, but you ended up actually going into an area of giving back. But before you gave back, you had to get rid of a double life, didn't you?
I did.
Talk
And
to us
that was
about
something I had people walking with me and telling me, like, especially going into ministry and going that direction, it was, Mike, you are a leader. You have influence. People are looking at you, and your job is to reflect Jesus. Not just reflect Jesus when you show up on a Sunday or a Friday night to youth group. It's 24/7. And that was something that really spoke to me and made me understand I need to, if I want to go this direction, I have to take this serious and really look at what does being a disciple mean.
And that's not a popular thing. And a lot of youth pastors don't really hear that because they think it's sort of happy clappy and it's the one ear Mickey Mouse that you take care of the kids while the adults are in one part. But you've actually been one of those kind of cutting edge guys. I mean, you're doing a number of tours. I remember the balloon tour. Talk to us about that.
The balloon tour, yeah. Every year, I'm on the road full-time speaking.
Yeah.
Every year in the spring, I do a tour somewhat connected to what I'm learning in life.
Yeah.
And I want to share this with people all across the country. The balloon tour was just about dreams and how, it doesn't just happen. I believe God opens doors, but we have steps that we need to take as well.
Yeah. But there was a young man that was probably restricted in some areas, and that balloon really impacted you. And it really represented a dream, a metaphor, didn't it?
It really did. And that young man was a man named Mason.
Yeah.
And the balloon, really encouraged him to take steps when the doctor thought he would never be able to walk. And just one step at a time, and God knows what he could do with that.
So talk to us about right now. Where are you speaking? What are you doing? And what is the audience really that you're looking at?
Yeah, so I technically speak to all ages, but my heart is toward the youth and the young adults.
Yeah.
I speak around 270 times a year, doing different events. It could be a little event with 7 people.
Yeah.
It could be a little event with 30,000 people, all over the place. And my heart is to share Jesus with them, but also to encourage them to share Jesus with other people in this world, which I believe is searching for him. They just may not realize Jesus is the one they're searching for.
Well, with the likes of Lecrae, with Skillet, with Hillsongs, with also, there's so many people that you share the platform with, but there's a group that seems to be forgotten, and it's a passion of yours, and those are those adults, those young adults now. Talk to us about what you're doing in today's teen and that.
Yeah, so with the young adults, we have in London, Ontario, a little young professional ministry. And what you see in Canada, about 70% of people raised in the church, about 70% are gone from church by 22. So this 22 to 30 age bracket, we're really targeting and trying to, help people continue to connect with Jesus, but also how to recapture them and help them reconnect with their walk with God. And
How do you do that?
we believe we have to be honest, transparent, and be intentional, and connecting with one another, connecting back to the local church, and connecting with their faith. And it's about being real, and they're getting it, but it's not easy.
So what do you say to someone right now that are watching and they're just saying, you know what, Mike, I don't know if Jesus is relevant for me, and they're that young adult. What do you say to them?
Well, for them, I would say, are you making that decision on your own, or is that the culture telling you that Jesus is not relevant? And I think sometimes we realize the culture speaks to us more than we realize. And I would tell people, strip that away, look within yourself and look within the Bible and rediscover, or maybe discover for the very first time, who he is. And again, that this good news is for all of us, including that one person who might be searching.
You know what, we're just scratching the surface, man. I just so appreciate your heart. I appreciate your passion, and just being in Canada, you are a champion. And my brother from another mother, thank you, Mike Gordon. How can we get a hold of you, and how can we find out where you're at next?
Yeah, my website is behindthemic.ca. It's Mike, M-I-K-E.
Yeah.
Behindthemic.ca, everything's on there. You can see where I am, where I'm on tour, where I'm speaking, where I'm doing ministry.
Well, whatever we do, don't drop the mic. Boo! I like that. And now, Eliza's story of freedom from loneliness and addiction. Cool.